So you want to check out some live music tonight in Ottawa, but you're not sure of where to start looking? Maybe you're not even sure what you're in the mood for. I've got a website for you. Go to Ottawagigs.ca. They have everything you need. Bands, artists, styles, venues, times, even the cost to get in. It's all at your fingertips on an easy-to-use website, Ottawagigs.ca. Go discover the incredible talent, the amazing venues, and the exciting nightlife that Ottawa has to offer. Start your night with Ottawagigs.ca, your guide to the gig.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Born and raised in South Bay, lower class punk ass, I was Northwood grade. I had it made. Spent my nights drinking with my mates. Just a short bus ride up to PA. Red River Raid. Then I hit the wall and I knew I had to bounce. They still say that 19 years ago, hell, I got the hell out. From time to time you may see me hanging around. Now I feel like a stranger in this town. Crocs and rolls is where I learned to play. Westwood Tavern's where I learned to walk away.
Hey, this is Mike. This is episode 153. This is Ego and Vice. Welcome back. Season 8. This is episode 2 of Season 8. Episode 153 in total. Episode 2 of Season 8. Last week we did the new hires, the 1 year later series, which really got a lot of good reviews. Like, people really liked the idea of having a band back. And I said, well, shit, if that one does well, let's keep going. So I have a couple of bands that are going to come back maybe every couple of months. I'm going to do one of those 1 year later series, and it's going to be really cool. So thanks for making that one a hit, if you will. Well, hey, awesome bands in town. Why not see what they're up to, right? What's going on with me? As of last week, the Riptides, my band, the Riptides. What's new with me? As of last week, my band, the Riptides, the brand new record, Burn After Listening, dropped. It's finally free. It's free out into the world for all to have to listen to. It was a heck of a journey to get here, but here we are. And you can listen to it anywhere. It's on all the streaming services. You can buy physical copies, vinyl. Go to Pirates Press Records.ca or look them up on Instagram. Very easy to search. You can go here locally. Go to the Odds and Sods shop. Pick up a copy there. They actually sold out, and we had to restock them. How cool is that? Thank you for the support. And the reviews are in. It's pretty good, if I may be so self-indulgent. If you're wondering why my voice sounds like a big bag of shit, it's because I'm actually just getting over a cold. Not even COVID, but an actual cold. So that's why I sound a little little crack whorish tonight. Not that I have anything against crack whores. You get after it. Everyone's got to earn a living. Cool. Enough about me. Let's move on. Today on Ego and Vice, I have a very interesting person. Her name is Vic. She is the bass player for Passenger Princess. She's the bass player for a band called The Hunt Club in town. And she also has her own solo project. It's called Victor Complex. Oh, and she hosts the open mic at Live on Elgin. A Renaissance person. Someone who just does it all. Vic. And Vic has been on the show before with Passenger Princess, but I knew she had a ton going on. I follow some of the stuff she does on social media, and I said, well, should have you on and let's just talk about what you got going on. And she said, sure. And next thing I know, she was sitting here in Southwood Studio, and we had a really fun conversation about the ins, the outs, the upside downs of one Victor Complex. So let's play a song. This is Passenger Princess. This is a song called Switchblade. Then we'll come back with Vic right here on Ego and Vice.
She walks in the room with a knife in her eye. Shoots him a look she wouldn't hurt her to fly. Showing them mercy, that would be a mistake. You're getting too close to the flickering flame. They think I'm a witch, so they burn me at the stake. I tried to tell them, but they wouldn't believe me. Got no mercy, that would be a mistake. Never losing my way, cause my tongue is a switchblade. They think I'm a witch, so they burn me at the stake. And it won't hurt, they said it'll just bite. But I'd rather burn than rot while alive. And I'll take what you give me and I'll take it in stride. They thought I was dead, so they left me to waste. I didn't stay in the dirt, I wiped it all on my face. Showing them mercy, that would be a mistake. Never losing my wits, cause my tongue is a switchblade. She's got, gonna have your head on a plate. She wouldn't hurt a fly, but someone had to make it pay. They wanted me to be less violent, then they went ahead and made me pray. And you know I wouldn't hurt a fly, but somebody had to make it pay. Something would get this way, cause yeah, wouldn't you be proud if he was your son? They wanted me to be less violent, but they were the ones who made me this way. They wanted me to be less violent, then they went ahead and made me pray. And you know it wouldn't hurt a fly, but somebody had to make it pay. Something would get this way, cause yeah, wouldn't you be proud if he was your son? They wanted me to be less violent, but they were the ones who made me this way. You're not God, you can't be yourself. You're not God, you're a problem I'm gonna solve. You're not God, you can't be yourself. You're not God, you're a problem I'm gonna solve.
Hey, we're back. This is Mike. This is Ego and Vice. This is episode 153. This is season 8. I can't believe I'm back. Well, I'm kind of back. I'm back in spirit, but my mind is elsewhere. Or maybe it's the other way around. Anyway, it's hard to tear me off the mountain, but here I am. In Southhood Studio today, I have a very, very exciting guest. Her name is Vic. She's been on the podcast before as a member of Passenger Princess. The illustrious bass player of Passenger Princess. But she is a solo artist. She's a songwriter. She also has a project / band. Maybe it's everything. Maybe she'll explain it to you. Called Victor Complex.
Yes.
What's going on, Vic?
Not too much. Just been working. That's pretty much it.
You said you were an educator. That's
Yes.
pretty crazy.
It's a good job for me. I enjoy it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
How did you get into teaching?
I'm not a teacher. I'm more of like an educational assistant, so I help with like the other stuff, like figuring out how the kid learns best and like what they need in that respect. So I got into it just by doing a college placement. I didn't originally want to do it, but yeah, I figured out I really enjoy it. The schedule is nice and steady. Kind of allows for a lot of outside opportunities, I guess, in a way.
Mm-hmm. My sister went to university to be an English teacher, and she went through, I guess the course, it was like 4 years or something, and after 2 years she realized she didn't want to be a teacher anymore. So, because she had invested so much time, she said, I'll see it through, and she got her degree or whatever it was, and then she worked as like a substitute teacher for placements or something, and then she actually got a teaching position, and I think she did it for about a year or something, and then she said, nope, and she went back to school and used the degree that she had in English towards a degree in journalism.
Well, that's fair.
So.
I mean, it's not for everyone, but For the people who like it, it's really good.
Yeah. I also have a friend in Toronto. Her name is Yana, and she's a teacher as well. And whenever I talk to her, she talks about how it is a rewarding job, but it's also it's a tough job.
Yeah, it can be tough, and I mean, part of that always has to do with like legislation, the provincial government, all of those fun things. But yeah, it's pretty rewarding at the end of the day. It's a pretty nice spot to be in, considering all of the things going on.
Well, I know you said you're not specifically a teacher, but anybody in education, bettering people, teaching people how to better themselves, learning in general, it is a probably underappreciated profession or area of the world that is needed, very much needed. So good on you.
Appreciate that.
I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it. I have no patience. My cat walks away when I call him, and you know, I'm just not very good at teaching anything. So
That's fair.
yeah. So see, watch, sit. But he's not a dog anyway. So
That's true.
so music,
Yeah.
is that your first love, your great escape, something you found later in life? What happened?
I've always kind of been around music. My family has always really liked music, played music around the house all the time, but I got into playing when I was a teenager. Started like experimenting with a few different instruments, guitar, bass, ukulele, a little piano. And then I didn't get into doing like live music outside open mics until I was like 20. But yeah, it's been fun so far. So I've always been drawn to music, just didn't start doing it seriously, if you could call it that, until a little bit later.
When you say seriously, do you approach it seriously? Like, is it something you want to do with your life, or is it just kind of a weekend warrior type of thing?
I guess if it's something that ends up taking off, like if opportunities come up, that'd be nice, but it's not something I kind of ever expect to pan out in like a really big way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm having fun with what I'm doing now, and if what I'm doing now is what I keep doing till I retire my real job, that's cool.
I think that's the long-term goal for anybody. I think when I was younger, there was always the dream of like, I don't know if it was a rock star dream, but it was mainly just like I'd like to pay my bills doing this.
Yeah. I guess that's like the highest level of achievement, I would say.
Like a working, earning musician.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to play like weddings.
Yeah.
And play like
bunch of
Elton
cover.
John songs, you know.
Yeah.
Crocodile Rock to pay the rent, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that, but
it's just not what everyone wants.
it's true, and I think it's a shame that one of the best ways to make money in music, I think, would be to be like in some sort of cover band,
Yeah.
or like a wedding band, or like one of those guys. And I've brought it before, and and I have nothing against any of this. Like, if you're making a living doing it and you're good at it, then all the power to you. But those guys who sit in the pub on the chair and
yeah.
play 3 2-hour sets of just like
The same
drinking songs,
you hear at every other pub.
"You'll have to excuse me, I'm not
yeah,
my
yeah,
best,"
yeah.
you know. It's just like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just I never saw myself in the history or my grand vision of playing music. I never saw myself as one of those people.
Yeah, no, like cover music is fun to do once in a while, and like I always think of covers as like a really good way to like show what music you're inspired by. Like, I love doing covers because it's kind of a way to like get people interested in your music while also like giving them something they're familiar with. So it's like they can see what your inspirations are also, in a way, when it comes to whether it's like music style or like lyric writing style. I've always found covers a really good way to like connect with an audience you haven't yet and get them interested in what you might create in the future.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like a head turner of like,
Yeah.
because a lot of people, and how many times have you been on stage when you're playing, and it's like you hear that roar of just casual conversation across the bar, right? And maybe you'll kick into something from Elton John, maybe.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you turn a few heads, and it's like, oh, there's a human being on stage trying to, entertain you. How do you do cover songs? Do you play them note for note, or do you kind of put your own like twist
I
or
always
spin
try
on
to
them?
change it a little bit. Like a lot of the covers I like to do are like not songs that are in the genre that I typically try for. Like one cover that I was doing a lot was Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac, because I've always loved Stevie Nicks and like that style of like 80s pop rock kind of stuff. But obviously it's not what I play. I play like rock, emo, more in that side of stuff. And then another one that we used to do was Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. So it's like stuff that people are really familiar with, like people my age would have grown up listening to that song. Like it was huge when it came out, and I think I was like maybe a preteen, something like that. So it's a good way to like, I don't know. I like to do it, but then also like put my own style onto it.
Yeah. I think I agree with you, and I think that's the best way to do a cover song. If you're going to do a cover song, don't do some like deep cut off a Genesis album from 1977 that no one's ever heard, and you go, this is a cover.
Exactly.
It's just something you like. Pick like a hit, like something that was big in like an era or something like that, and then put your own kind of thing on it.
Yeah, like we just did this like punk goes pop style cover night at the 27 Club where Passenger Princess did Chapel Roan, who obviously is huge right now. Like there's no denying how big she is in the pop music world right now. And then for Victor Complex I chose Lady Gaga because it's like that similar kind of like pop that appeals to a similar kind of audience.
Yep.
But also both groups like definitely put our own style spin on those, which was a lot of fun because it was like people came out that liked us, but then it was also just like groups of people who liked Chapel Roan or groups of people who liked Lady Gaga. Like there were people dressed up in the audience, a couple. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. I've said this before. The reason whenever I do cover songs, I have to turn them. Everything I do is kind of punk rock anyway, because I am not a classically trained guitar player. I don't really know how to follow stuff. I can play by ear, but it's usually just chords.
Like power chords.
Yeah, I can't listen to like a Slash, like Sweet Child of Mine solo or some traditional solo and figure it out note for note. But I can hear what the bass is doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I play. There, one of the cover songs I did was a Bare Naked Ladies song. And how they're kind of just poppy, kind of easy listening rock, and we just turned it into this really kind of grindy punk song. And it was cool because it was different, right? But people knew it. They're like, hey, don't I know that song? So anyway, but enough about cover songs.
Yeah.
You obviously write your own stuff.
Yeah.
All right. When did you start writing songs? Do you remember?
I think my like first songs that I wrote, I was about like 14 or 15, and like I have them somewhere in an old notebook, but I haven't like tried to play them live because those ones I just, your first songs are not always your favorite.
I've asked this question before. Do you remember any lyrics or the actual title of the very first song that you wrote?
The first song that I wrote and finished, yeah, like I still have it written down, and I've like looked at it and like played through it by myself to myself, but it's like, okay, that was a really cute song when I was 15 that I wrote on my ukulele when I was super into like Say We Can Fly and Never Shout Never. But now I'm just onto other stuff.
That's fair. The very first song I ever wrote, and I didn't play an instrument. Well, I kind of did, but I played like a string of a guitar.
Yeah.
So I kept like a thing. It was called the Hallway of Life.
Nice.
And I remember the lyric was, I've been down the hallway of life and I couldn't find the door. And I thought I was so profound at like 13 years old.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
oh my God, I'm going to be huge.
Yeah, no, like the metaphor that I used, I think, was like winter being over. It's like, oh, my like 15-year-old brain did not know that was like obviously used so many times.
Well, it's all been done, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. No,
Yeah.
it was like, again, it was a cute little song when I was 15.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
I still do that. I was just working on a song the other day, and I'm just jotting down lyrics, and I ended up like, you know, when you just kind of phonetically, you start singing stuff,
Yeah.
and then you listen to it back on your phone, and there's a couple of lines that are like, oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And one thing that just kept coming up was "Dear Misery," "Dear Misery." I just kept saying it. I don't know why. So I then ended up basing the whole song around this line, "Dear Misery," and then I'm like, that sounds like. I bet you that's been done like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So I went on Chat GPT and I said, list all the song titles for Dear Misery. And there was
Yeah.
like 4 of them. I'm like, good enough.
4 is like few enough that it's like, who's gonna know?
Yeah, you don't know, right? But I think I was like thinking of like, you ever heard that song Hey Jealousy?
Yeah.
I think I was cross-referencing in my brain somewhere Dear Misery and Hey Jealousy. Then it was just
Maybe.
like, is that the same song?
Same
Anyway.
amount of syllables, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like every songwriter kind of gets in their head about that at one point or another.
Yeah, it's true because songwriting, I don't know. I think sometimes you have that flood of songs, or flood of ideas, and you just get super creative, and it just comes easy. And then there's some days you question every little note, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
I suck, I quit, I'm never doing this again. I'm a hack. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
discovered.
It's like the song's either finished in like there's one song that I have that I literally finished like in span of like 4 hours overnight because like I couldn't sleep or whatever, and then I edited the lyrics on the train back, and that's still to this day like probably my favorite song that I've written. But I think it's because I didn't overthink it, because if I like start a song and then it's like I don't finish it within like 2 days, I'm overthinking it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't get anything to go to this. So it's like, song's done in 2 days or it's done in like just 10 months. Like there's really no in between, I find.
No, nor should there be a time limit on it, right? Unless,
Yeah.
you know, we live in an era where it's just like we're kind of free to release stuff as we see fit. And we can write and record as much as we want. So if you don't finish that one, maybe this one's done. But
Yeah.
I was on a snowboarding trip last week, and as I was going down the hill, I was writing lyrics as I went.
Yeah.
To kind of fill it in, right? So very, very cool how it kind of all comes together. You said that you played a ton of instruments and you wrote your first song on a ukulele. What do you
Yes.
normally? How does your songwriting process begin and end? Like, is it a line in your head, or do you have a guitar riff, or is it piano, or what?
It's usually like kind of like a combination. I used to call it like a Frankenstein of stuff. So it's like ideas that came from like 50 different places that all ended up kind of together. Generally, like the instruments still start on the ukulele. Like I'm just kind of like playing around different chords, and then if it's something that sounds interesting, I go, oh, okay, maybe I can see how that sounds on guitar, and I don't know, so far that's worked.
Did you say you play piano? Do you play piano at all?
Not so much anymore, and like unless you count like just like playing 4 chords in the basement when I was a teenager, it's like
Yeah.
I was kind of playing, but like not really.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I wish I did. Most of my writing happens on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Like I said, normally I play a lot of rock or punk stuff, and it doesn't matter. It always starts as a mid-tempo kind of thing. The music to me is just the vehicle for the melody and the lyrics. Some people put everything into riffs and changes and just this big, beautiful piece of like instrumental music. I get in the music for me is just a car, slam the door, hit the gas,
Yeah.
and singing to the radio along the way, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, pretty similar. I don't know. It kind of depends on the song too, because like some of the songs are mostly based, like the main focus is like, I guess, the instruments, and like not necessarily the instruments, but like the chord progressions and like the different arrangements, because I try not to do the same like verse chorus kind of song structure. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that. I just find like it gives a little more variety, and especially like I'd like to do like time signature changes sometimes, because it kind of like, I don't know, I find the different time signatures kind of can like give a different feeling to like if you switch to like a 5/4 in breakdown in the middle of doing like 4/4 like 6/8 for the rest of the song. I don't know. I just find it like kind of changes the entire, just like how it feels.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's the world of pop music is normally based around 4/4 time. Everything is 4 beats, 4 beats, 4 beats. So yeah, if you can somehow fit in different time signatures just to kind of keep everybody on their toes, including yourself, it's probably fun to write and fun to play, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely good.
And it can kind of make it feel a little more frantic if that's kind of like the mood you're going for in the song. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. As you I guess grew up and started doing more music, have you always been in Ottawa?
I grew up like 45 minutes south of Ottawa, so I moved into the city when I was 19, maybe. I think I was like about to be turning 20 when I moved into the city, and then that's around the same time I started doing like the band stuff. So, because there wasn't like a lot of people I could jam with the same kind of music that I liked back home, that all like had cars and stuff, because it was like everyone lived in a different town, so it was small southern Ontario. Exactly.
Towns.
Like
nothing against the south.
Eastern Ontario.
Yeah.
Small towns.
That's fair. I don't know. I think it's small town Ontario. There's so many. Yeah. There's so many of them, and I guess we need them to survive. But good on that. So when you did come to Ottawa and you started playing with bands and that, did you do solo stuff? Did you like play a solo acoustic things, or? The
first band that I was in, it was kind of like, it was just like a group of people that I worked with, and then like that's kind of like how I got into like the local music scene. It was like pretty much straight away. Like we started the band, and then I was like, okay, well, like if we're gonna be in the local scene, like we should probably see what's going on. So I like started to go into shows all the time. Yeah, it was pretty much just like dive in, exposure,
networking
to as much as I could. Yeah,
meeting people.
Exactly.
Yeah, making connections is huge, right? Even if you don't play the shows, it's good to go out and see the shows.
Yeah.
And just believe it or not, to the listener, after local bands play, you could probably once they're done, you could go up to them and talk to them. They're usually pretty nice people, and you can find out more about them. And maybe you'll make a connection. You never know.
Yeah, especially if I play out of town, I like really, really try to talk to people. I'm really socially anxious, if I'm being so honest. So it kind of like takes a lot, but it's the only way to like build connections. You kind of just like have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think that's absolutely it. Sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes you don't feel like it, and sometimes you're not even sure if it's genuine. How many times has someone come up to you after a show and been like, "You guys were awesome," and in your mind, you're like, "You're just, come on."
Yeah.
I have forever imposter syndrome. It doesn't matter what I do.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah. Absolutely. It's like, I feel like it's kind of like ingrained in a lot of artists.
Yeah.
It's like,
we can't let go of it and say, yeah, maybe someone actually enjoyed what I've done here.
Yeah, and we can't just kind of like, even if we made a mistake, we can't get over it, and we expect that no one else will ever get over it ever either.
Yeah. Did you hear that bad note I played in the third song?
Yeah.
I know everyone heard that. Everyone was looking at me. I wanted to climb under the stage. Yeah.
The song that no one knows and is not out and has never seen the light of day.
That's right.
Everyone's gonna know that you fucked it up, though. Sorry.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to swear on here?
Absolutely.
My bad.
No, absolutely. This is a DIY podcast. I have no boundaries.
Fair.
Yeah. Nor will I ever. No sponsors. I'm not in it for the money.
Hell
Not
yeah.
that there's any money to be had.
Yeah.
But okay, and did you want to get was there lots between coming to Ottawa and Victor Complex, or have you always been Victor Complex? Is that like a stage persona, or is that like an actual band name?
I mean, Victor Complex is like my solo project, I guess you could call it, but it's just kind of like a moniker that I've chosen to go with because I find it easier than giving people my actual last name, you know?
Hey, I appreciate that, and I understand that, and there's nothing wrong with having like a stage handle or like a creative thing. Like, that's cool. Everybody has one to a certain degree. Like, some people use their real name.
Yeah.
If I had a name that I didn't think sounded kind of lame, I would use my real name. Like, some people can do that, like Frank Turner or like Laura Jane Grace or something that sounds cool.
Yeah.
My name. I sound like a I don't know, like an accountant.
Yeah.
Mike Matani. Like, it just, I don't like, anyway, I'm just getting into my own problems here.
No, it's okay. Yeah, but Victor Complex, like, it was really just like, shit, I have a show coming up, and I don't actually have a name for this project yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that was basically like, it was kind of like, because I was like, oh, Victim Complex could be cool, but that also sounds a little bit lame.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm an emo band, but
A little too on the nose?
so yeah, like it's a little too like hand fisting, like, I'm gonna feel sad about my problems the entire EP, and you've got to listen to them.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, and like I kind of like the idea of like you're using, like, I kind of use it as an outlet to like kind of process certain stuff, and then that kind of like turns it into something positive, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's not so much of like a victim mentality if you're turning it into something positive.
To be honest with you, Victim Complex and Victor Complex, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, well,
So I think that's good though, right?
yeah, I mean, like, I go by Vic, so I'm like, some people, like, as a joke have called me Victor, so I'm like, oh, if people are calling me Victor anyway, Victor Complex kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and it's all art.
Exactly.
It's all presentation, and you can do whatever you want to do because it's your creativity, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can use your real name or you can make one up.
Yeah.
Like have a stage handle. I use the for my acoustic stuff. In the Riptides, my name is Mikey Voodoo.
Nice.
In my band Goat, my stage handle was always Ohio Jones, and it was like this
Nice.
weird play off Indiana Jones. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Like 20 years ago, I thought it was really funny. Ohio Jones, that's so funny.
There you go.
It's not that funny. I actually use Mike Matani in Goat now. It's crazy.
There you
But
go.
my solo stuff, I use Mikey No One. Just because it's like it sounds better than Anonymous, Mikey Anonymous.
Yeah.
It's just like No One. That's it. So yeah, it's cool. And it's like I said, it sounds better in my name.
Yeah.
I did some research.
All right.
Okay. And I found some shows that you played. And I hope they're in the order that I put them in.
Okay.
True or false? Your very first gig or show as Victor Complex was at the Nameless Friends concert, February 18th, 2024.
False.
Ah!
False. The first show under Victor Complex was November, I think 2023 with Maybury.
Oh, I don't have that one.
It was the Maybury, I believe it was a single release for If We Could Go Anywhere. And then the first, like, so that one was a solo show.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one where I was like scrambling for a name.
Ah,
And I was like,
that
shit.
was the birth of it.
Yeah,
That was the,
yeah.
Okay.
I was scrambling for a name and I had to get a guitar. Those were the two things that were stressing me out.
Okay. Well, that's probably a good thing to have prior to a yeah.
And then the first band show was Café des Coffres. I played with Alterna and Stephen the Stab Wounds.
Ah, Steven Stabwounds.
Yes.
Cool guys.
Yes, very cool.
Yeah.
I've played
Okay,
with them a
my
few
research
times.
is all out of whack then. But let me name off some shows
Okay.
that I think are highlights, I guess. I think they're highlights. They're
Okay.
pretty cool. There was one on July 20th, 2024 at the 27 Club,
Yes.
and you opened for Theo
Yes.
Galifianakis or Gala. I think that's...
Something along those lines.
Yes.
Yes.
I apologize for butchering that name, but I remember him from Gob. I played
Yeah.
with Gob million years ago in a firehouse
Oh my
in
goodness.
Thunder Bay, Ontario.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, that was such a cool show because like I remember it was like months after I had already gotten the tickets for like the Sum 41 show where Gob and Pup were opening.
Oh yeah.
And then I like got the show offer and I was like, this is a joke. This is not real. Gob is definitely not who I'm thinking of because if it's the Gob that I'm thinking of, they're like cool and really popular and I really like them. So I have to like do my research. Anyways, it turned out to be that Gob and I was like pooping my pants. I was so excited.
No doubt. That's a cool gig. Was that a solo show or was that a band show?
That one was a solo show because
Oh, wow.
it was he was doing like an acoustic tour.
Okay. Oh, that was I guess that's why it's just him then.
Yes, it
Is
was.
Gob,
It was.
Does he still play in Gob?
Yeah,
That's still
he
happening,
played
yeah.
this show at the Canadian Tire Center that they just opened for some 41s.
Okay, right.
Final tour
what's his
there.
name plays in some 41. What's the other guy's name? The skinny singer dude from Gob. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't
I
matter.
wish I was better with
Thacker,
names.
Tom Thacker.
Yes.
That's who it is.
I wish I was better with names because I love all these bands, but I can never remember the names of any of these people in them.
Yeah. When we played with Gob in Thunder Bay, I remember we rented the Firehouse and they came through and they were like they weren't really a very big band, but I remember I talked to Tom and he was probably, I don't know, maybe like 20. I don't even know, but he looked he had his face, he looked older. I'm like, wow, you look a lot older than your... Anyway, that doesn't matter. But that was billed as like an emo night.
Yeah, it was an emo night pre-show. The emo night can't get rid of me at this point, to be honest.
Yeah. That's cool, though. Okay, let's go back to the Nameless Friends concert,
Yes.
February 18th at Live on Elgin with Nameless Friends and Valvehead.
Yes.
That's the one I thought was your first gig. What would that be then?
That one would have been number 3 total, I believe.
So we're not too bad. We're not
No,
too far off.
No.
Then I have the Rainbow, the Guest Room Status show.
Yes, that one was
That
fun.
was July 2024 with Out by Lucy and Growing Fires.
Yes.
I love the Rainbow. Rainbow's like one of my favorite venues.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do also love the Rainbow.
Yeah, and I'm super happy that it's still around.
Yeah.
Okay. Any memorable moments from that show?
From
I really
that
like
show.
Guest Room Status. I really like those guys too. They're very nice. Good
Yes.
music.
Solid music for sure.
Yeah.
No, that was one of my favorite shows to date, I would say. 'Cause like, I don't know. It's something special when you can have a really good local bill and everyone's pretty chill. It's very nice to have that kind of sense of community.
And Passenger Princess and yourself, Victor Complex, are very ingrained in that part of the scene with bands like Guest Room Status and Out by Lucy. So those are friends too.
Yeah, definitely people that I see around often.
Peers, anyway.
Absolutely.
That's fair. Okay. Band show or solo show?
That one was a band.
Cool.
Full band.
When was the first band show?
That one would have been, I can't remember. I think it was January, it was the 7th or the 5th or something like that of 2024.
Was it the Punk Frenzy at Café de Cuff?
No. But it was also at Café de Cuff.
Wow, I missed a lot of shows.
That's okay. I did archive some of the older flyers.
Before we go any further, did you want to give some recognition to the band?
To the band? Oh.
To the people you play with in Victor Complex?
Yes, Victor Complex. It's like a little bit of like a fluid mix of pals.
Oh.
So, Jake Dubois, the drummer man himself, he's been around since day one. We had Naveen Royling play a couple shows on bass with us. We had Dylan play a couple. Well, Dylan was like the bassist for quite some time. We had Jeremy Farkas of Growing Fires hop on, do a couple cameo moments. And we have Raksha, who has been on guitar since August. Yeah, we've had lots of folks come in and out, and it's all been fantastic.
Is that the way you kind of like it though, to have like or are you looking for something more solid?
I have no real concrete goals for this project.
Okay.
I'm just kind of seeing how it goes. Might have some like concrete members if it seems like it's a good fit. Like Jake, we've had since the beginning, because I've worked with him previous to this project, and it's always been a pleasure. So
Cool.
love that.
Under the Stars series, Club Saw. That was the outdoor
Yes,
series.
Outdoor series.
With Growing Fires, Loch Nessie Monster.
Loch Ness Monster.
Loch
yeah.
Ness Monster. I actually played with Loch Ness Monster at Avant Garde.
Okay.
Alex, the owner there, is a friend of mine, and
Okay.
I sent him a message and just said, if you ever need an opener, just something to just start the night off, just give me a shout if you're stuck. And it was Loch Ness Monster, and I can't remember. I think it was some band from New York or something.
Okay, I can't remember.
I have it on my anyway. But yeah, they were all very nice. Very nice.
Love when that happens.
Yeah.
Love
yeah.
when that happens.
How was playing outdoors? Does Club Saw do that all the time?
Sean at Spectrasonic has had this like Under the Stars event the last few years. It's I mean, as the name would suggest, it's outdoors unless there's like weather conditions that would make it unsafe or just like not a pleasant experience.
That's fair.
It's second time I've played it. It's always a fun time. But yeah, shout out to Sean, Spectrasonic.
As always, Mr. Scallon. How many songs does Victor Complex have, do you think?
It's a good question.
Are you a consistent writer? Do you write a lot?
I will go like months without writing, and then I'll spit out like 3 songs in 2 weeks.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
It's a little bit sporadic,
That's
but
fair.
I've got about 3 songs that I'm working on finishing up before they're ready to play live, but I think about 5 or 6 we've been playing live.
Cool.
Give or take.
And you do have some stuff recorded.
Yes,
Kinda
I have some demos
Demo
up
stuff on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, yes.
You have the
classic.
irony of an axe murderer in a town named Gun.
Oh, yeah, the irony of an axe murder in a town named after a gun.
Named after a gun.
Yeah, that's one about, from a small town, as the name would suggest. And I went there and visited for like a couple hours. And I walked around and I was like, there's like nobody outside. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Are you perhaps talking about Winchester?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
At the end of Highway 31, there is a town called Winchester.
Yes. Anyways, but it's just kind of about like not necessarily identifying with where you were raised, and that's okay. Some people do identify with that, and that's also okay. It's just different experiences.
I don't know. I guess it can go either way. You can love your hometown, or you were the person like me who couldn't wait to get the hell out of it.
That was definitely more my vibe.
The thing that blows my mind is that I have friends that I grew up with that just never left.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you still? But I guess that's all they know, right? So that's
Yeah,
life. That's life to them. But
and I mean, again, like it does work for some people. I'm just not one of them.
yeah.
If I'm living rurally, it's like in the woods.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm getting closer and closer to building a log cabin in the woods and never coming back.
Exactly.
To be honest with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Off mic, we had a nice conversation about the state of the world. But
yeah.
Ego and Vice is not a topical or political podcast, so we'll keep it about music. Peeling paint
Yes.
and sad songs.
Yes.
How emo of you,
Yes.
which I appreciate. Would you be willing to play one of these songs on the podcast?
On the podcast? Sure.
Okay.
I mean, Peeling Paint is always a classic.
Okay, you heard it from Vic herself. This is Peeling Paint. Is this Victor Complex?
Yes.
You heard it first, right here, from Vic herself. This is Victor Complex. This is a song called Peeling Paint. Yeah. Ego and Vice.
A blank canvas, a new painted face, untarnished by the sight of you, until you decide to bleed through broad strokes from a few fine folks, painting the portrait of moods, and now they think they give a shit about you. And I can't fucking stand what you don't understand when you're out and about and working on your next bout. I get so pissed when you talk like this. Thought I had something amiss. Now I'm just getting my ass kissed. So what's it like to be an art thief? Putting together pieces of the puzzle of what you pretend to be. I'm not interested in courtesy. And what's it like to play color in the numbers with secondhand lovers? How's the cracking of the pavement on your bones? No matter shown of your own. Connecting dots on speckled paper never did me any favors, but you go on playing the savior so you can cash in on them later. Connecting dots on speckled paper never did me any favors, but you go on playing the savior so you can cash in on them later. Recycled artwork, different faces, while you rework this. I've already placed this. You've chose the wrong guys to steal the credit, 'cause when your mask falls they might finally start to get it. So tell me what's it like to be an art thief, putting together pieces of the puzzle of what you pretend to be. I'm not interested in your bullshit courtesy. And what's it like to play color in the numbers without suspecting others? Have you felt the cracking of the paint that's on your bones? Have you fixed the walls of your own home? And what's it like to see the shadows in the waters that goes to past the lovers? How's the feeling of the painting on your soul? You'll have to scrape down to find what's left of what you thought you left behind. And what's it like to hear the echoes in the waters? It goes to past the lovers. I hear you feel the peeling of the paint that's on your soul. You'll have to scrape down to find.
So, where did you record that? Where did you record your demos?
I just do those in my basement.
Oh, you do it yourself?
Yeah.
Sweet. Me too. Are you comfortable with recording?
I mean, it's okay because it's just demos. It's not really like anything terribly like I don't find it terribly stressful or like frustrating because it's just demos. I will record everything when I get to it properly, but I don't find it necessary to like really hone in on demos cuz
Yeah, I can relate with that too. Like, I've gotten a lot better at doing, like, at first it was like I was like that's a demo, whatever. I'd like steal like just like a drum thing off YouTube or something. It's like punk drums, 140 BPM, and I would just plug it in and be like,
Yeah.
you know. But now I can I have a drum program and I'm making like drum lines and all that stuff.
There you go.
I can absolutely sequence and engineer everything together. I can't do mixing or mastering though. It always sounds, doesn't matter how much effort I put into it, the finished product always sounds like it was recorded in like a shed.
Yeah, and which is why I find if I think too much about it and I get like too in my head about like how the demo sounds versus like just get the demo out, because the goal is not for it to sound the most polished. The goal for my demos is just so people know what the song sounds like.
Okay.
So it's really, I try not to put too much time into it, or else then I'll just get it in my head and never release anything, and then that's not necessarily helpful either.
Yeah, I have a friend who has a studio, and for one of my bands, I've gone to him for everything I've done. Mm-hmm. But I am so close to doing it myself now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I want to know but it's a process. It's a process. Because if I could record and release music and be happy with the music I've recorded and released, that's the problem too. Mm-hmm. It's like, it doesn't matter how good it is. It's still kind of like, this doesn't sound good, does it? Anyway.
Yeah.
But if I can get there and record and release my own stuff, then fuck.
Yeah, I feel like if I record it, I'm just going to focus too much on like how I could record it better or like whatever. Mm-hmm. And then to a certain degree that's helpful, but my end goal is not to become a mixing engineer. My goal is to put music out.
You know what? That's what I always said too. It's like I could do it myself, but I always hire people. It's like I don't do my own dentistry, because there's people out there that I can pay to do it properly.
Yeah.
And you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, and I have mixing engineers that I know and that I would trust. So it's like why if it's not something I have a huge goal of trying to learn how to do, I may as well just like leave it to the people who know how to do it.
Yeah, I think it's just cost and time. Everything's expensive now, and it's just
that's very true.
If I figure it out, like if I crack it and I'm good.
There
then
you
I can that's it. Think of the money I'd save and the time and the travel
true.
And the, anyway, but cool. Are you going to actually record the songs properly, or properly, but the way you had mentioned?
Yeah, like that's my goal.
Do you want to release like a EP or an album or?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to by the end of the year that just passed, but I mean, life happens, and I'm involved in 2 other projects that have been releasing music, so it's not that I've not been recording, it's just I haven't been recording my own stuff.
There really is only so many hours in a day.
Exactly. And
yeah,
it's something I'll make time for if I ever feel like it, but I feel like right now with this project I'm not at a standstill, just like I'm focusing on other stuff right now.
That's fair, though.
Not as much of my time can go to that.
Victor Complex is you.
Yes.
So it's not like you have any like major demands to meet. It's just like you could always go back to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's fine. And I do that too. Like for my acoustic stuff, like I've always done it in between bands or just when I'm bored. But and I get up in the morning and I'm doing stuff. I'm driving, just running errands, and I think, oh my God, I have the whole day to myself. I'm going to go and record something.
Yeah.
And I get super, super excited, and then I come home and I remember I have to. There's so much involved in it. And I'm like, fuck it. I end up just sitting on the couch and playing like PlayStation.
I feel like if I pressure myself too much into doing it, then it'll just stress me out too much, and I'll literally never ever do it. Yeah. Whereas if I just kind of like, the only expectation on myself I have for it is, if it's something I feel like I have the time and energy for, I'll go back to it. But
yeah, that's fair. So I guess that answered that question as far as what 2025 has in store for you. You're just going to play it by ear, I guess, eh?
Yeah, play it by ear. Have some shows lined up, so it's not nothing. I'm going to try and get some recording in probably in the summer, but no hard deadlines for myself.
Yeah, that's good though. You know what I mean? Like, if there's no demand and it's just something you do out of the labor of love to do it, then yeah, take your time and do it when it feels right.
Yeah.
I always use the expression in my life. It's like, which way's the wind blowing today?
Fair enough.
Yeah, and that is fair enough. It's just like it's super true. Did you want to mention the other projects you're in?
Well, Passenger Princess, of course.
Of course.
That's-
I love that band.
Yes, I was definitely like interested in the band before I joined it. So joining it was just like an extra little bonus, I guess.
Yeah, I'm that was one of the bands that I'm probably, remember I had mentioned for the 1 year later of the new series.
Yeah.
I'd love to have Passenger Princess back at some point, probably maybe in the fall, like when it is a complete year.
We will have more to talk about by then, for sure.
For sure, because I've kept in touch, and again, it's if you keep in touch, I always kind of I'm very interested, and I had sent who I think it's oh my god, my brain, Dennis,
Corey.
Terrible.
Dennis, shout out Dennis.
Yeah, go Dennis. Corey is who I always talk to when I'm on Instagram and stuff, right?
He's the one who's the most on top of the DMs, I would say.
Okay, I'll edit that part out because I don't want to forget his name because I feel bad, but I don't remember anything.
That's fair enough. I feel like he would laugh. I can send him a message and ask.
Yeah, but I sent I got my stats back for the year.
Yeah.
My podcast stats, and the Passenger Princess episode was the top.
Oh,
the most
awesome.
streamed and listened to and downloaded episode, and it was up around like 400 or something.
Oh, wow.
Like actual streams, and I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
So thank you, Passenger Princess. Thanks, Dennis.
Shout out Dennis.
Go Dennis.
And Grace and Kaden.
Yes. Awesome.
But yeah, that's definitely a band that I'm very grateful to be a part of. Happy with that one. And then, of course, can't forget to mention the Hunt Club.
Are you in the Hunt Club?
I play bass behind the Hunt Club. So it's Kian Davies' solo project. Kian Davies from No Hits. He started a post No Hits solo project, and yeah, I am lucky enough to play bass. The Hunt Club did this show. It was like a fundraiser show with Guest Room Status and Great Hunter and Still Life in Street in this like church. And after that, it kind of, people started getting more and more interested because Kian's a fantastic songwriter. Like he's really, really, really great lyricist and just like composer.
Cool.
So it's very he writes songs that there's like a lot of different ways that like the rhythm section can kind of interpret it, and he allows us a decent amount of creative freedoms in the parts that we play, which is makes for a fun project that doesn't sound like anything else that I'm really working on right now.
Cool. Where can I hear that song?
Last Train to Ajax is on pretty much any streaming.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check that out after.
But the Hunt Club and Passenger Princess are going on a little mini excursion in March, so
Cool.
that will be fun. All right.
Okay, cool. So we've given a shout out to the Hunt Club. We've given a shout out to Passenger Princess. We've talked about Victor Complex. You are a very well-rounded artist. You have plenty on your plate. And some stuff, you'll get to it when you feel like it.
Yeah,
Well, that's the best situation you could be in, I think.
exactly.
No demand. I think music should be fun. I think you should do it because you love it. And once it starts getting to be like a job, maybe rethink it.
Yeah, scale back a little bit.
Cool. Okay. Would you like to play 13 questions with the band?
Sure.
I have new questions for season 8.
Amazing.
Yeah, because I think people are getting, and I am getting sick of the old ones. So
It's fair enough.
okay, this is it. 13 questions with Victor Complex.
Yeah.
Time for 13 questions with the band. Yes, this segment's back again. It's called 13 questions, but I only asked 6, maybe 5.
Okay, we're back. 13 questions with Victor Complex. The new questions, season 8 edition. I wrote new questions because I was very, very tired of the old questions, and I think they'd been answered to death, and people were starting to answer the same things, and it was just like, okay. So I wrote questions that are less kind of, so what's your favorite desert island record? And everyone's kind of, I wrote questions that you got to kind of think about. I think you got to think about them. I think you got to think about them. I don't know. Let's find out. As far as music goes, question 1. Are you where you thought you would be a year ago?
Probably. I mean, a year ago, I had freshly joined Passenger Princess, and it was very shortly before I started playing bass behind the Hunt Club. So, I mean, yeah, I guess. I didn't have much expectation.
Did you pleasantly surprise yourself? Are you happy that everything worked out as well as it has? I guess that's kind of a stupid question. Eh?
I mean,
are you happy? You're happy?
I mean, I'm glad things have worked out the way they are. I mean, between the 3 bands and the open mic, you can get pretty busy, but I'm pretty content that I've been able to balance.
Cool. All right. Next question. What's your best show memory of 2024?
2024. Like, of any of the shows I did?
You can take that as anything. Yeah. Probably. I guess it's geared towards something that you played, not like what's the favorite show you saw. Like, what's your favorite show memory? Hands on.
I think... in August, the Hunt Club played a show with some of my buddies from Windsor, Riverside Drive. It was just a very nice reunion for me.
All right. What's your favorite record from 2024?
Favorite record like that came out in 2024?
Yeah.
I really like the Closure. No, not Closure. Closure is not what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. But Like Roses came out with a new EP this year. The EP is called Stuck.
From who?
So Stuck from Like Roses.
Like Roses.
Yes.
Cool.
They're a band I've recently discovered in the last year and a half, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about them.
Nice. We'll have to check that out. Beyonce is normally an R&B artist, I think, and she just wrote and won a Grammy for a country album, which is kind of out of her spectrum, so it's kind of a concept album.
Okay.
You've said yourself that you're kind of an emo person. What would your concept album be, and what would it sound like?
It would probably be like somewhere between like old country and like older emo. Kind of like, I don't know, My Chemical Romance did a few really cool concept albums. I think that would kind of be like my vibe.
Cool. What is the biggest lesson you learned in 2024?
Take what I do seriously enough, but like I guess don't take myself seriously, because I mean, if I take it too seriously, then I don't know, it takes the fun out of it.
That's right. We're all gonna die. Relax.
Exactly. To be cringe is to be free, or whatever the kids are saying.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. If they made a Victor Complex the movie, who would you want to play you?
Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay. This is 13 questions with the band, and normally I don't ask all 13, so we'll do last question. Describe Vic in one word.
Confused. I'm
Very
confused quite often.
That's fair. All right. Is there any last words or any last hellos or shout-outs or anything you'd like to give?
Guess shout out to the bands Passenger Princess, The Hunt Club. Shout out to Jack O'Sullivan and Adam Robillard, since I didn't quite mention them, but they also play in the Hunt Club.
And Dennis.
And Dennis.
All right, Vic, thank you so much. I think you'll probably be sitting on the couch at some point in the future with the 1 year later Passenger Princess pod, and hopefully if I can touch base with the Hunt Club. So who knows?
Perhaps.
But I'm glad you came by, and as always, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank
Keep
you.
in touch, and take care.
Yeah, same to you.
There he is down the street, the fucker in his striped car. How does it feel making a living as a thief? I'm up the state and all you do is cause grief. Oh, you should spend your life locked up behind bars. And I'm not too pussy to say it to you. I'm coming up to you and spitting in your face, yeah. I'm coming up to you and spitting in your face. I'm not too pussy, spitting in your face. I was 2 minutes late, this fucker dinged me. 2 minutes late, well I hope he has a field day. Goes home and buys himself a nice big steak. A nice big steak with my hard-earned pay. I got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket right down the street. Got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket, they got me beat. Got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket and I'm not gonna pay it. Take my money and run. Take my money and run. I'm not gonna sit and watch like you do. You dirty hawks, you wanna be cops. I got no patience left, I got no money left. Got no patience left, I got no money left. Got no patience left, got no money left. To find your job, got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket right down the street. Got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket, they got me beat. Got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket right down the street. Got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket and I'm not gonna pay. Get a real job.
If you want to get a hold of me, you can always reach me at egoandvice@gmail.com if you want to listen to the podcast. Go to egoandvicepodcast.com. That is my website, my home base, my fortress of solitude. That's where you can get every episode, reviews, information, links, anything like that. So thank you so much, Victor Complex, for being on the podcast this week. This has been Ego and Vice, episode 153. See you next week. Maybe.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.